In the winter of 1922, a farmer walked through the snow near his home in Germany. Then he noticed something strange. There was a trail of footprints. They came from the dark forest and led straight to his farmhouse. He followed them all the way to his front door. But there was one terrifying detail. There were no footprints leading back. Someone had walked to the farm, but nobody had ever left. A few days later, the entire family disappeared. What police found inside that lonely farmhouse became one of the most chilling mysteries in history. The farm was called Hinterkaifeck. It stood alone in the countryside. The nearest village was far away. The family who lived there worked hard every day. They took care of their animals, they grew their own food. Life was quiet, simple and peaceful. At least that is how it seemed, because strange things had already begun to happen. The family started noticing small things that did not make sense. A newspaper appeared at the house. Nobody had bought it. Nobody knew where it came from. Then, a set of keys disappeared. Soon after, the family's maid quit her job. She told everyone the farm was haunted. Nobody believed her, but she refused to come back. The family stayed. They believed everything would be fine. They were wrong. One morning, the father stepped outside. Fresh snow covered the ground. That was when he saw them. Footprints, they came from the forest, step after step. They led toward the farmhouse. He looked carefully. There was only one trail. No footprints went back into the forest. Someone had come to the farm, but where had they gone? The family searched the buildings. They found no one, but from that day on, they could not stop thinking about those footprints. The old maid was gone. No one wanted to work at the lonely farmhouse, but the family still needed help, so they hired a new maid. She arrived on March 31st, 1922. It was her very first day. She had no idea about the strange footprints. She had never heard the stories about the missing keys. She believed she was starting a normal job. She never knew it would also be her last day alive. As evening arrived, everything looked peaceful. The animals were fed, the house was warm, the family gathered inside. Outside, the wind moved through the trees. Snow covered the ground. Nothing looked unusual. But someone may already have been watching the farmhouse from the darkness, waiting. The next morning, something felt wrong. The family did not appear. No smoke rose from the chimney. Neighbors noticed the farm was unusually quiet, but farms could be busy places. No one thought too much about it. Another day passed, then another. Still, no one from the family was seen. The family's mail began to pile up. The bakery noticed no one had collected their order. The school wondered why one of the children had not arrived. Little by little, people realized something was terribly wrong. Neighbors decided they could not wait any longer. They walked through the snow toward the lonely farmhouse. None of them could imagine what they were about to find. The neighbors reached the farmhouse. At first, everything looked normal. The doors were closed, the yard was quiet. Then they walked toward the barn. Inside, they made a horrifying discovery. 4 members of the family were lying together on the floor. None of them were alive. The neighbors quickly ran into the house. There they found the new maid. She had also died. Then they searched one more room. The youngest child was there too. The entire family was gone. Police soon arrived at the farm. They carefully searched every room. What they discovered made the case even stranger. The animals had been fed. The fireplace had recently been used. Food had been prepared. It looked as if someone had stayed at the farmhouse, even after the family was gone. But who and why? Neighbors remembered something unusual. In the days after the family disappeared, smoke had still been rising from the chimney. Someone had seen a figure moving near the farm. The cattle had been cared for. Everything suggested one impossible idea. Someone may have stayed at the farmhouse for several days, living there, completely alone. While no one knew what had happened, it was one of the most frightening parts of the entire mystery. Police questioned neighbors, friends, workers, travelers, anyone who might know something. Many people were suspected, but every lead ended the same way. No one could prove who had been at the farm. No one could explain the strange footprints. No one could explain who stayed behind after the family disappeared. The mystery only grew deeper. As the investigation continued, police questioned many people: neighbors, workers, travelers, even members of the family. One suspect seemed especially strange. It was the family's former farmhand. He had left the farm months earlier. Before leaving, he had told others that the house was haunted. Some people believed he knew more than he admitted, but police could never prove it. Police searched every corner of the farm, believing the weapon had to be somewhere nearby. Days later, they finally found it. Hidden beneath loose wooden boards in the barn, it had been carefully concealed. But even after finding it, the mystery remained. There were no fingerprints, no witness, nothing that could identify the person. One question has never gone away. If someone came to the farm, why did they stay? The animals were fed, the fireplace stayed warm, meals were prepared. Someone moved around the property as if nothing had happened. Why would anyone remain at such a dangerous place instead of escaping? Even today, nobody has an answer. Months became years, years became decades. The investigation slowly came to an end. No one was ever officially found responsible. The farmhouse was later torn down, but removing the buildings did not remove the mystery. The questions remained, waiting for answers that never came. More than 100 years have passed. People still ask the same question: who was responsible? Some believe it was someone the family already knew. Others think a stranger had secretly been living near the farm. Some even believe the person stayed hidden in the attic, watching the family for days before anyone realized. But there has never been enough evidence to prove any of these ideas. They remain only theories. Many old mysteries slowly fade away. Hinterkaifeck did not, because every clue makes the story even stranger. The footprints, the missing keys, the newspaper, the strange noises, the animals being fed, and the feeling that someone remained at the farm long after the family was gone. Even today, no one can explain everything that happened. The farmhouse no longer exists. It was taken down many years ago. Today, only open fields remain. People can still visit the place where it once stood. There are no buildings, no barn, only silence. Yet the mystery still lives there, not because of what can be seen, but because of the questions that were never answered. One lonely farmhouse, one trail of footprints, and questions that have survived for more than a century. Perhaps the truth was lost forever, or perhaps someone carried the answer away that cold winter. Until then, the mystery of Hinterkaifeck remains one of history's most chilling, unsolved cases. If you enjoy real mysteries that remain unsolved to this day, make sure to subscribe, because sometimes the strangest stories are the ones that actually happened.